Hi, I'm Kat Pham, and this is how to use Jamboard for the SIOP strategy Gallery Walks. SIOP stands for Sheltered Immersion Observation Protocol, and it includes 8 main components: lesson integration, building background information, comprehensible input, strategies, interaction, practice and application, lesson delivery, and review and assessment. Gallery Walks focuses primarily on interaction. We use gallery walks to encourage intentional, structured interaction with peers. It provides a safe way for students to practice English, especially those multilingual learners. It previews content to provide schema for later lessons within a unit, if you use it at the beginning of the unit, regardless of prior exposures. And at the end of the unit, if you use it then, it provides an opportunity for reflection. Jamboard is an engaging tool that is interactive for students to use. It's going to provide extra opportunities for reading and writing in English for those multilingual learners, and visual supports can be built in. It makes learning visible and accessible to all collaborators on a jam session in real time. So how does it work? Viewing other people's interpretation about a given topic is this huge important thing that you can gain by doing a gallery walk on Jamboard. It also allows students to discuss and compare with each other, comparing that to their own reactions as well. So how it's set up: first you have to assign your students into groups of mixed ability, either academically or linguistically, ideally both. Then you provide them with an image, a text, or a probing question on Jamboard. So I assign my students, okay, group 1, you're going to start on slide 1. Group 2, you're going to start on slide 2, etc. Students respond directly on the Jamboard to which they are assigned, either independently or as a group. There's no rules. You can have them talking to each other if that's how you would prefer to do it. After about 5 minutes, the group of students move to the next Jamboard. So group 1 moves to slide 2, group 2 moves to slide 3, etc. And they repeat that process. But this time they have to look at the previous responses before they add their own response. That's the only difference. Otherwise, you just repeat the entire process again. So let's take a look at a Jamboard and see exactly how it looks when you have a gallery walk. So this is an example of a gallery walk that I would use at the beginning of an early Utah Explorers and Mountain Man unit. So this is a unit that I really do teach. At the beginning or the end of the unit, you can use this kind of a Jamboard. And so I include this image and I have students asking or answering a question. I give over here the directions: look at the image below, read your responses from your classmates, and then write your own response either on your own or with your group. And so students will ideally click probably on that sticky note and they get to write their own answer. Okay, what's going on here? The men are walking with horses to, well, if you don't know what's going on, you might have a crazy, ridiculous thing, to their new home. Or maybe you know exactly what's going on. Who knows? But so students are going to be able to write their response. That is what I think is going on. Maybe someone's going to say, the man on the horse is pointing where to go, right? Just these ideas based off of the picture. It's very, very easy access is ideally the situation here. So I've got all sorts of questions, right? Here's a map. And you can see already, you can look and see what other people have written and then write your own response. And I've got all sorts of different types of questions that I include here, right? What do you notice? What do you wonder? How are these two images alike? How are they different? What do you think about this image? What do you wonder about this image? What does this image make you want to explore? And then I've got here, if it was at the end of a unit, I might write, I used to think, now I think. And that's going to be our last one, that I might have 5 groups. And after doing all 5 slides, everyone puts their answer on here at the same time. And in real time, you can see everyone's sticky notes showing up. It's really quite amazing. So I come up with questions on my own. I use a lot of questions that come from this website here. It's the Artful Thinking Strategies. It comes from Harvard. It's part of Project Zero. And there's all these amazing sentence stems and question ideas that really work well when you've got an image to look at and compare to. So that's something that I really highly recommend as you're trying to come up with your own questions and you want to make sure that you've got that low entry level point, but you want to also make sure that there's this high ceiling of really great, deep, critical thinking that could be potentially going on. So to create your Jamboard, what you're going to do is you're going to go to get jamboard.google.com and you'll click over here on the plus sign, which is to create a new jam. And once you've got that new jam, I love setting the background. There's a lot of different built-in ones, but I really love using ones that I either find on Canva or can create on my own using Canva. And so I'll click on image and I'm going to add in my own. This one is going to be on wavelengths as like a preview to a unit on wavelengths. So here I've got my image again. I've built this myself, but we've got look at the image below, read your responses from your classmates, write your response either on your own or with your group. I might make sure that I've got this titled as wavelengths. And then I can create a new frame just by pressing this button here. And again, I can set a background and I'll set a background to my next one. I'm just going to keep doing that while I'm uploading. That's all that I really have to do to prepare is just make the background in the first place or find one already created for me. And I can just use this the way it is. I can share it to my students. They don't need a copy. You just have to send them a link to this. And from there, they can participate as fully as you want. Again, I come up with really intentional questions. That's a huge part of your gallery walk is making sure that you've got questioning that is appropriate for whatever point you are at in a unit. And that's all we have to do. I just keep going and going until I have created my full thing. In this case, I'm going to do 4 slides just to show you what that might look like. And see, we've got how it's connected to something you already know about. Write your response here. And students are able to do that. I love having the question as part of the background because students aren't able to delete any part of what you've got as your background. And that can be really helpful. Okay, so I'm going to have you get a chance to make your own Jamboard and kind of begin the practice and coaching cycle so that you can use Jamboard to make gallery walks on your own. So the first step, you're going to brainstorm with your team right now about key components of a future unit. When you have that figured out, your next step is going to be finding important images that you can use in your Jamboard. You can also use text and things like that. It's a little bit harder on Jamboard, but it's definitely possible. You can include a link to an article on Newsela or something like that if you want. Once you and your team have kind of finished creating a Jamboard, send it to me to get feedback on your Jamboard before you use it. I'll look to see and give you any pointers that I can. You can always ask for help as well. And we'll make sure that you're making any necessary adjustments before you even begin. Then, when you're ready to assign it to your class, make sure that you record a video of your class using Jamboard as part of your gallery walk. And make sure that you save that completed Jamboard at the end so that you can see exactly what their responses were. Finally, you'll watch a video and complete a self-reflection before we meet again at our next PLC next month, where you get to share your video with the group and we'll talk about your reflection and we'll get a chance to really dive in deep. As we do this, we'll keep going in a cycle and we'll make more and more Jamboards until we're totally comfortable being able to make Jamboards as part of gallery walks for any unit that we ever want. This is an amazing tool that can be used for literally any unit. Doesn't matter the subject. So I really, really hope that you find this useful and we'll get started. Right now, go ahead and start brainstorming with your team about key components of one of those future units.